making sure kids learn about sex.
We're going to see issues like language barriers and understanding of what the curriculum is.
The campaign in response to policy from the province. Children going hungry.
We're having more children access our programs than we ever had before.
A greater need at the food bank. And shout it out loud.
It was an amazing feeling because I was pretty confident he was going to be happy with it.
The frontman of KISS with praise for Calgary Woodworking Company.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Ian White.
Good afternoon. The YWCA is launching a social media awareness campaign urging parents to opt in to sexual health education this year. Jacqueline Wilson joins us from outside of Ramsey School. So, Jackie, what's the reason behind this campaign?
So the new provincial legislation is requiring parental consent, and that is starting this fall. So that's what's behind this. And in the past, it's been an opt-out policy, but now for parents, it is an opt-in policy. And so the YWCA has launched their new campaign, and really it's highlighting how sexual health education can help youth build relationships, understand consent, develop empathy, and prevent gender-based violence. And according to the WCA, research shows that students who do receive this education are more likely to delay sexual activity, to make informed decisions, and foster respect for themselves and others. And in Alberta, sex education starts as early as grade 4, and so each school, they say, will have its own process for collecting that consent from parents. But parents and caregivers should receive communication this fall. Now, if a consent form is not returned, it's important to know that students will not be allowed to participate in the lessons.
Given our larger newcomer population in Calgary, we're going to see issues like language barriers and understanding of what the curriculum is. We're going to see it make it easy for people to miss forms. As parents, we get a lot of forms in backpacks at the beginning of the year, and those things are easy to miss.
Now, the province did react to knowledge of this YWCA campaign, and they sent me a statement, and in reason part that the province says that parents should be fully informed and engaged in their child's education, and that these changes strengthen parental involvement. Ian, back to you.
Jackie, thanks very much. Alberta teachers and the province resumed bargaining today in an effort to avoid a looming strike. Teachers across the province voted overwhelmingly in favor of a strike in June. Sticking points include growing class sizes, support for students with complex needs, and wages. If no deal is reached, teachers have until October 7th to hit the picket lines and must give 72 hours notice. The group representing the province at the bargaining table will be voting on Friday about whether to lock out teachers. The son of a former Calgary MLA has been identified as the young man who was killed Sunday night in a motorcycle crash. Arjun Singh Gill was just 20 years old. He died after the motorcycle he was operating hit an SUV at the intersection of 16th Avenue and 10th Street Northwest. Police say the man was speeding and failed to stop at a red light when he struck the vehicle. He was taken to hospital in life-threatening condition, where he died shortly after. Arjun is the eldest son of former UCP turned independent Calgary Greenway MLA Prob Gill. A celebration of life will be held on August 31st. A 28-year-old man from Bicycure is dead after a crash last night in Rocky View County. RCMP say a Ford F-250 pickup truck failed to stop at the intersection of Highway 9 and Highway 564 and collided with the semi-truck. The driver of the semi was not hurt. The intersection was closed for the police investigation, but reopened this morning. A Calgary police officer has been charged with theft and fraud. Constable Bradley Tepper is accused of stealing from hardware stores in Calgary and surrounding areas. It's alleged the fraud and thefts happened over a one-year period. More than $10,000 worth of items were stolen. Calgary police say the 52-year-old has been relieved from duty. Tepper was a 20-year member of the CPS. Another hot day in Calgary, and that means business is booming for some Calgary companies. Terry Fikowski is live outside Village Ice Cream in Victoria Park. And Terry, I bet that's a very popular place today.
It really is, Ian. People certainly coming down to beat the heat with a sweet treat, and I can tell you that mine was about double the size before we went to air, but that's how hot it is. It's melting fast. But I mean, that is really good news for the folks here at Village Ice Cream who have been waiting all summer long for this hot weather, and they certainly are not the only ones. After a very soggy summer and Calgary's third wettest July on record, many businesses are cashing in now on this late summer heat wave. People are also flocking to patios in the city after cooler temperatures and stormy weather kept them indoors over the last several months. Riverside Rafting says its phones are now ringing off the hook for people looking to float down the Bow River. They saw actually a 60% drop in business in July due to the weather, and they're hoping to make up for it now with this hotter weather. It's a similar story here at Village Ice Cream. The folks telling me that the summer months have been pretty tough.
July was probably one of the slowest months that we've had, I think, since 2018. We were hoping for better, but you know, August is proving to make up in spades for it. So we feel really fortunate, and we're hoping that some of this warm weather will bleed into September as well.
This hot weather is also helping to extend the season of 2 outdoor pool locations in the city. That's Mount Pleasant and South Calgary locations. Just another cool way to, or another good way to keep cool during this heat wave, Ian.
Sounds great. Thanks very much, Sherry. You better finish that before it melts and makes a mess all over your hand.
The joys of being on location.
Isn't that great? What, now, you don't have a chocolate ice cream cone for me today.
No.
But you do have a heat warning, which you promised yesterday.
Yes, right? Yeah. So, you know, here we are. Yeah. We all knew. This week is hot. If you need a bit of relief from the heat, and I say a bit, we'll get a bit of a relief by Friday. But until then, it is going to be very, very toasty. So Calgary now under the heat warning, and Drumheller included, Hannah up through Coronation, Red Deer. These are the areas. But my key point with this is, while areas to the south are not under a heat warning, it will still be just as hot, if not hotter, during the day. It's just that overnight you'll cool down a little bit further, so you can get a little bit of relief in those late night and overnight hours. But still hot. All of Alberta. 28 degrees is the temperature in Calgary. We're going to climb, so you can tack on another couple degrees to get your daytime high for tomorrow. Your 24-hour forecast brought to you by 5th Avenue Volkswagen, where you can win your ride. See dealer for details or visit 5thAvVW.com. 16 degrees at 8 a.m. A whole bunch of sunshine, maybe a few clouds out there tomorrow afternoon with a high of 30. More hot details coming up, Ian.
Thank you, Danielle. The Calgary Food Bank says a growing number of young people need food, especially breakfast. Volunteers are preparing packages for the Breakfast Club of Canada. It takes about a week to assemble, then distribute to feed an estimated 7,900 students in our city. There's been a 40% increase in demand, and organizers expect that will continue heading into the school year.
And that's due to inflation, cost of living, the tariffs on our just household goods. We're having more children access our programs than we ever had before.
According to Vibrant Communities Calgary, 32% of Calgarians are facing food insecurity. That's according to data from 2023. Food bank officials say that number is higher today. Ballet dancing can be very taxing on the body. Still ahead, what Alberta Ballet is doing to ensure dancers remain in peak condition. And grizzly attack, an unfortunate encounter for someone who is out fishing. Also, if you have a news tip, text us at 10400. A man fishing near Cardston has been attacked by a grizzly bear. It happened Saturday afternoon along the St. Mary's River. Fish and Wildlife believe the bear was acting defensively because she had 2 older cubs with her. The man was treated in hospital but has since been released. Bear traps and trail cameras have been set up in the area, but officials say so far there have been no new sightings. Firefighters in Lethbridge have a new tool to fight grass fires. The Wildland Sprinkler Trailer will be able to fight fires that stretch nearly 1 kilometer in length. Industrial-sized sprinklers can be set up to fight the flames. Firefighters in Lethbridge got the idea from Waterton Lakes National Park, where similar equipment was used to suppress a forest fire in 2017.
In a rural environment, you also have isolated houses or structures that are at risk. This is a good fit for those kind of isolated at-risk structures with water nearby.
The Lethbridge Fire Department says the trailer can be loaned to other departments in rural areas. And of course, this heat is not really a great thing for the forest and wildfire situation in Alberta or in Western Canada.
Our risk is higher in general with such a long hot stretch because a lot of the moisture is drying out in the soil. So that's one thing. Also, with excessive heat, we do have to be careful. Drink lots of water, use the sunscreen, maybe stay out of the direct sunlight for a bunch of hours when it's, don't be out there too long in the direct sun if you can't jump in a lake or something. I mean, there's the precautions to take, of course, but I really hope you get to enjoy this beautiful weather because the kiddies go back to school next week. They get a little burst of summer before they head back, and it's certainly summer. Yep, 33 degrees in Drumheller, Medicine Hat, 32 in Lethbridge, 30 in Pincher Creek, and Calgary not quite 30 yet, but we'll get there tomorrow. So the heat will keep building here, as we talked about under this ridge of high pressure. Calgary is under a heat warning, and then really from Drumheller, Hanna, Coronation, Lloydminster, Red Deer, and up, many communities under that as well. But as we talked about, even the areas not under the heat warning, in fact, the daytime highs will even be hotter for the far south, but the overnight lows will be a little more reasonable, so you can cool down at night. Whereas Calgary, for example, our overnight lows will be in those mid-teens, 14 around, and so it's a little hard to get some relief even when you open the window at nighttime. Here's that ridge of high pressure. This will be in place for the rest of this week. This will start to move on out when the kiddies head back to school. Radar and satellite, you can see some development that tried to get going in the mountains, but it's so stable here that it doesn't have any steam to move off to the east. What we will see, though, is a system push in from the south that will bring in some cloud cover at times. We have a few clouds from that right now. We'll get a few clouds from that tomorrow afternoon. And then Thursday might even be mainly cloudy. And then we have a small chance of showers in some communities to the far south on Friday. But overall in Calgary, just some cloudy periods at times over the next couple of days. We'll have heat for the next couple of days, as you can see here. So 30 degrees for Wednesday, 30 degrees for Thursday. Overnight lows just at that heat warning criteria for the overnights as well. And that's why we're under the heat warning. So you can see that excessive heat for the next couple of days and the next couple of nights. We do kind of like lower a little bit, I'll say, on Friday to 27. That's still hot. Saturday, 26, still hot. Then we bounce back closer to 30 for Sunday. I want to show you the 10-day trend here to give you an indication, because after this week, by next week, we'll be into a much cooler temperature trend, as you can see, in those mid to lower 20s, and even by next Thursday, likely in the teens. So, basically, take what you can out of this, enjoy the heat, enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the summer weather that we have, because it won't be nearly as hot for next week.
Some furniture sold at the Brick is being recalled because of high levels of lead. The recall affects Lars branded furniture, including a counter, table, chair, wood top, metal base, and tabletop glass insert. Health Canada says the black coating on the products contains an excessive amount of lead. More than 17,000 affected products were sold across the country between June of 2023 and July of this year. No illnesses have been reported. People who bought the furniture are advised to stop using it immediately and contact the Brick. Alberta Ballet is partnering with a team of medical experts in a new effort to ensure dancers remain healthy during their intense training. These dancers are currently rehearsing for Swan Lake for performances in March of 2026. The new program is called Peak Dance, with services provided by the local sports injury clinic Peak Health and Performance. Peak doctors and staff will be on site at the Alberta Ballet studio throughout the season with the goal of preventing injuries.
The dancers don't have to come to us. We come to them with an integrated team of practitioners to help support the insane, and incredible athletic things that they do.
I'm extremely demanding. I want quality, I want dedication, I want commitment. But equally, what are we giving to them? How we look after them? So with Dr. Alex, we are building, it is a beautiful project where really we work alongside our artists, preventing the injury.
Alberta Ballet is doing 57 main stage performances this season. That's up from 44 last season, including a run of the Nutcracker featuring a new design, set, and choreography. There are complaints in the tens of thousands. Coming up, the long wait for Air Canada passengers looking for some satisfaction after the flight attendant strike. Trump's feud with the U.S. Federal Reserve Board escalates. Joining me is Dave Popowich, portfolio manager with the Popowich-Karmali Advisory Group. And Dave, Donald Trump says he can remove the governor of the Federal Reserve. How did that affect the markets today?
Hi, Ian. I think it was an interesting day. Markets started out fairly cautious. In U.S. markets, I would say more cautious than most. There's no question that the markets will be concerned if the Fed's independence continues to be eroded by President Trump. The issue here, I think markets look through that. This likely is going to end in a legal challenge, and that's going to take some time to work through. The markets also, I don't think, are believing this is going to affect interest rate cuts in the United States. So in the short term, at least, including today, I think we've got a bit of a look through, but it is something we're going to have to keep our eye on as markets will get concerned longer term.
Also, two of the big Canadian banks reported their earnings today. How did they perform?
Well, they did really well. Let's start Bank of Nova Scotia. Both banks did well, but Bank of Nova Scotia here, I'm looking at their net interest income. That's the amount of interest income they earn. The difference between what they lend to you at and what they pay you for your deposits. It's $5.49 billion in the quarter. That's well ahead of last year. Their profits amounted to $2.52 billion for the quarter, $1.88 a share, well ahead of what was expected. And Bank of Nova Scotia up just under 7%, one of its best days in a very long time. Bank of Montreal also hitting good numbers. I'm looking at their loan loss provision numbers, Ian. That's the amount that the bank set aside for fear that these loans may go bad. And it fell from $906 million to $797 million. They beat their bottom line. That stock up 4.7% on the day.
All right, Dave, thanks for the update.
Bye, Ian.
Air Canada customers looking to file a complaint over their experience during the recent flight attendant strike should be prepared to wait. The Canadian Transportation Agency says the backlog of complaints stood at about 85,000 as of August 14th. That was 2 days before the Air Canada strike began. The backlog has been growing since the federal government passed rules in 2019 setting compensation amounts for flight delays, cancellations, and the like. So far, there are no numbers for complaints against Air Canada due to the strike. A new survey shows the trade conflict with the U.S. has Canadians changing their shopping habits. A poll commissioned by Interact says 78% of Canadians redirecting at least one monthly purchase from a big box or international retailer to a Canadian business. 1/4 of Canadians said they're shifting 3 to 5 purchases a month, while a fifth have redirected 6 or more purchases a month to homegrown retailers. Interact also says its transaction data shows small and medium-sized businesses consistently outpace larger merchants in year-over-year volume growth between April and July. Changes to how sexual health education will be delivered in Alberta schools. Here's Tara Nelson with a look ahead to CTV News at 6.
Hi, Ian. This year, if parents want their kids to receive that education, they'll have to sign a form to opt into it. That policy reversal has prompted the YWCA to launch an awareness campaign about what it says is the importance of sexual health. Coming up at 6, what Alberta parents have to say about the changes. Also ahead, businesses offering ways to cool off are booming this week in Calgary. Coming up, why one business says it has been a tougher summer compared to others. That's all ahead. Ian.
Thank you, Tara. The Calgary International Pin Club is organizing its 35th annual Festival of Pins this weekend. Collectors are looking through their collections to see what they can trade at the two-day event. The club formed after the 1988 Winter Olympic Games, when the pin trading craze really took off. Now members have branched out and are collecting a variety of pins, not just ones from the Olympics. They say the festival is a chance for the public to bring in some of their pins to have them evaluated and hear what they could be worth to the right collector. This year the festival is celebrating the 50th anniversary of the beaver becoming the official symbol of Canada.
There'll be hundreds of thousands of pins on display, and as the sign says, trade, sell, buy. Great family event. At best part of it, free admission, so folks are welcome to come in for the 2 days.
The Festival of Pins is a free event and will be held Saturday and Sunday at the Legion on Horton Road Southwest. We've posted more information about the event on our website. Well, it's going to be a few days before the weather turns cooler and cloudy. Right now in Calgary, lots of sunshine and 28 degrees. Danielle has the details just ahead. The hot weather continues. Another one coming up tomorrow, possibly 30, right?
Now, you and I are heat people.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. More so than the cold.
Maybe not in that suit, though. But
no.
Yes, no. I know. Okay, dress appropriately. 28 is the current temperature. The daytime high so far will likely creep up another degree or so before the day is all said and done. 21 is what's normal for this time of year. The record is 33.3. Oh, and we'll get closer to record temperatures. Likely not break them, but closer to for Wednesday and Thursday. This is why we do have the heat warning in place for the city of Calgary. 30 degrees at least for Wednesday and Thursday. Overnight lows around 14, which is why the heat warning is issued, because we have the heat during the day and it's still quite warm even in those overnight hours. Friday will be the one blip this week where it's not quite as warm, but as you can see, still going to be 27 degrees. Similar temperatures expected for Saturday, and then we bounce back close to 30 by the time we get into Sunday. So it's a hot, long weekend to come in.
Thanks, Danielle. The lead singer for the rock band Kiss has a new custom table built by a Calgary woodworking company. Paul Stanley took delivery of his massive 15.5 by 5-foot table last month. The rock star commissioned Calgary's Black Forest Wood Co. more than a year ago. The walnut burl and resin piece weighs nearly 1,000 pounds. The company says Stanley was very hands-on during the design process and was amazed with the finished product.
It was an amazing feeling because I was pretty confident he was going to be happy with it, but I really truly didn't expect him to basically put on a show for us and really just show his admiration for the piece.
The crew also surprised Stanley with a custom-made guitar made out of maple burl. It's estimated the table took about 300 hours of work by the Calgary crew. Thanks for joining us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.